I just want to address maybe Deputy Donnelly and Deputy Harty, and I genuinely do, because I know that you put questions out there. The reason why this is considered, I suppose, a yellow pack conscientious objection is because the bill states there is nothing in the Act that will be construed as obliging any medical practitioner to carry out or participate in an abortion. So
you have 2 minutes. You've spoken already.
That only means there's nothing in that Act. That doesn't mean anywhere else you can influence a person to actually carry out an abortion. So it's a very, very weak conscientious objection. Our amendment just says there will be nothing that will force a person to participate in an abortion, which actually says in the Act and everywhere else within society. The other point that, that was mentioned was that the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Bill has within it the guidelines. That bill is of a different order. That bill obviously looked to legalise abortion in the case where there's a threat to the mother's life. This bill that we're discussing here is of a totally different order. It's to allow for abortions to happen without indication. And that's a completely different scenario and has to be understood in that regards, because people were saying that a person may die in the case of conscientious objection. There's no example in this state, in the history of the state, that any doctor has ever stated that they had a conscientious objection to something and a person has died as a result. There's no example of that ever happening in here. So for me, I suppose, in a liberal democracy, the right of one person is limited where it damages the right of another person. And what the government is looking here to do is to force one person to proceed with the ending of the life of another person at some level. And the issue of arrangement is said that it's not a big issue. But if I was to, the bill says that termination of pregnancy is the ending of a life of a human being, okay? Now, if I was to arrange for the ending of a life of another human being, I would be legally and morally culpable and complicit in that action. And so you can imagine a doctor which sees abortion as literally what the bill says, that they would feel culpable and complicit if they proceeded in that way as well there. So, the fact that pharmacists have not been included, that again we're saying somebody else can do it, we won't do it. The fact that, thousands of health professionals have stated that they do not want to proceed with this. The Minister is in collision course with the people who are actually working in our health service.
Could I ask people to try